Welcome to The Explainer. Have you been looking at your grocery bill lately and just wondering what happened? Well, today we're going to trace this hidden line, connecting a conflict thousands of miles away directly to the prices you're seeing at the pump, at the store, pretty much everywhere. It's this huge global ripple effect. And guess where it ends? Yep, right in your wallet. All right, so let's get right into it. The whole thing really kicked off with just one number, 3.3%. See, in March, US inflation just shot up. We're talking the highest it's been in almost 2 years. And this wasn't some slow creep. Nope. It was a jolt, a real shock to the system. And that was the first big sign that something happening way over there was about to be felt right here. So you gotta ask, right? What's causing this? I mean, sure, there's always a few things going on, but when you dig into the data, one thing stands out. There's one main driver that really kicked off this whole chain reaction. And that big driver? It's energy. I mean, the data is just crystal clear on this. The main culprit here was this huge, sudden shock to energy prices. It basically became the engine that's been driving this whole inflation wave. And just look at this. I mean, the difference is staggering. Energy costs jumped over 12% compared to last year. That's just blowing everything else out of the water. So this isn't just another item on the list. No, it is the key driver. This huge imbalance is really what this whole story is about. Okay, but when you dig a little deeper into the specifics, the numbers get even crazier. You want to know about fuel oil? Just fuel oil alone, it shot up by a whopping 40%. That is a massive, massive jump, and it has these immediate ripple effects through the whole economy. And look, these aren't just numbers on a chart, right? This is real stuff. Gas is up almost 19%. The whole energy sector is up 12%. What does that mean for you? It means it costs more to truck everything we buy, from your food to your clothes. It just sets off this chain reaction that touches pretty much every single part of the economy. Okay, so if the energy price shock was the engine driving all this inflation, what lit the fuse? Well, the evidence traces it all back to one single geopolitical event, a flashpoint that sent absolute shockwaves through the entire global energy market. And that flashpoint, the source material we're looking at, points right to a disruption in the Strait of Hormuz. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, this little sliver of water is one of the most critical spots for the world's oil trade. So you can imagine any trouble there, well, it's going to have immediate global consequences. And to really get how important this is, think about this. About 20%, that's 1/5 of all the oil the world uses every single day, has to pass through this one tiny channel. So when that choke point is threatened, yeah, the entire global energy market is going to feel that squeeze. So what you get is this, it's a really direct, almost predictable chain reaction. Step 1, a conflict breaks out. Step 2, the oil supply gets disrupted. Step 3, that makes transportation more expensive. And step 4, well, that's when those higher costs get passed right on to you every time you go to checkout. All right, now let's bring it all back home. How does this big global event actually translate into real costs for regular people and businesses here in the US? This is the part where those international headlines start turning into, kitchen table issues. And we're already seeing it happen. The effects are rippling out everywhere. Thinking about a vacation? Well, airline tickets have jumped almost 15%, mostly because jet fuel costs more. Even the price of clothes is up, and transportation services in general, a big increase. It just goes to show you how baked in energy costs are to, well, everything. But here's where it really starts to hurt for most of us. It's what economists call the squeeze. Prices for everything are going up, right? But real wages, that's your paycheck after you factor in inflation, are actually going down. So in other words, your money just doesn't buy as much as it used to. And no big surprise here, when people feel that squeeze, their confidence just tanks. In fact, consumer sentiment has dropped to the lowest point ever recorded. People are just getting really nervous and uncertain about the future. And that feeling, it really matters, because when everyone gets cautious and stops spending, that can slow down the whole economy. So you've got this combination of rising prices and falling confidence, and that puts the people in charge, especially the Federal Reserve, in a really, really tough spot. I mean, there are just no easy answers here. Not at all. They're basically walking a tightrope. It's a true dilemma. On one hand, they could raise interest rates to try and cool down inflation. The risk? That could tip the whole economy into a recession. On the other hand, they could do nothing to try and protect jobs, but then they risk inflation just spiraling completely out of control. It is a classic catch-22 situation. And to make things even more complicated, there's another issue. Economists have a name for it: sticky prices. It basically means that even if this whole conflict gets resolved and oil prices come back down, businesses probably won't lower their prices right away. Why? Well, they're going to want to rebuild their profits first. And that means we, the consumers, could be stuck paying these higher prices for a long, long time. So really, when you step back and look at the whole thing, it's just this powerful reminder of how connected everything is in our economy. It really shows you how fragile the global system can be, How one single event, happening thousands of miles from here, can set off these super fast financial shockwaves that are felt by absolutely everyone, everywhere. And that really leaves us with a pretty tough question to chew on, doesn't it? When global events can basically flip our economy upside down overnight, is real, true financial stability even possible anymore? Or is it just an illusion? It's definitely something to think about as we all try to figure out what's